So tell me about the eclipse.
Oh yeah. So we are in the line of totality or whatever. So that was cool. Um, I got a text from one of my friends from high school from Florida, who lives in Florida currently. He said, "Hey, I'm in Ennis, Texas," which you don't know where that is. No one knows where that is. It's super random small town, but it's where Josh's grandparents lived. So I know where that is. I know. And I was like,
Wow.
no way. Yeah. So that was cool. So we got to see him and his fiance, and that was super fun. Um, they were living it up in Ennis, Texas. So
Was that the closest place to you for the totality thing, or was that just like where they were able to find an affordable Airbnb?
I feel like I think Waco was a big destination spot, which is like an hour and a half for me. But I think everything was probably really expensive. And so like Ennis is like 40 minutes outside of Waco and probably a lot more affordable. And it's a cute
Hmm.
small town. So yeah, so I think that's why they stayed there. I think Fort Worth might have been in the line of totality though. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I think we got total though.
Yeah. So why did you just stay in Fort Worth or
Oh,
you
so
left?
yeah. So we visited them on Sunday and then we were in Fort Worth on Monday. Yeah, I was worried
Mm.
the traffic was going to be crazy because everyone would be like making their pilgrimage to Waco, but no one was
Oh,
on the road.
yeah.
Everyone just stayed at home. It was great. My dream.
Well, that's really nice. I wonder,
Yeah.
because how long was it? It was like 10 minutes.
It was like 4 minutes of totality, like 3 minutes or something. Yeah, I
Was
mean,
it
it's a really
cool to
short.
see?
It was really cool. Yeah, I mean, some people are like, it was the most amazing thing ever. And like,
Yeah.
maybe I just wasn't looking at it, hard enough or really taking it in. I thought it was really cool though. And
Yeah.
yeah. And you could notice it was noticeably cooler when the sun was covered too, which was really interesting because it's like, wow, the sun's super powerful.
Well, also like you think about like in the time when people didn't
Yeah.
know that this would happen, or maybe they did. I don't know. They're very smart back in the day, but you're just like walking around and then for 10 minutes or however long, everything goes black and you're like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And then it comes back and then you say, "Oh, okay, I guess you go back to work." Like, I don't know.
I know. Well, from my Facebook news, I heard that there was this war, like however many of years ago, that was ended by an eclipse because they were fighting, and then the eclipse happened, and then they're like, oh my gosh, the gods are upset with us. We need to make peace. So then they negotiated peace, and then the eclipse ended.
Well, I'm fair. I would agree with
Yeah,
that. I think I would do that too.
I know. I mean, yeah, after seeing it, I'm like, yeah, this is like an act of God. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, especially because it's like, I mean, like I said, it's like maybe if you're looking at the stars, you would be able to predict it. But if you're just like a normal person walking around, it feels like random almost.
yeah. I know. I mean, that's really crazy too that we were able to predict it to like down to the minute.
Hmm.
Wow, that's a lot of math that went into that.
That was a lot of people. That was someone's like entire PhD thesis of predicting that.
Calculating the moon.
Yeah. So when do you guys move?
Middle of June.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're trying to figure out moving situations, taking a poll. Should we sell all of our stuff or should we bring it? Or I guess we could
Well,
leave stuff in storage at his parents' house, so for free.
um, my thought, you didn't ask, but my thought
No,
is
I'm taking a
that,
poll. I want
oh,
you to
okay.
answer.
All right. Well, I wasn't sure if I was a respondent for the poll. Um, so my thought on it is that people say that things are fine until it's not fine. And
Mm,
so it'll be storage. And then in 8 months, they'll be like, you need to get rid of all your stuff.
yeah.
Not that, it just happens. Like things come up and suddenly you're like, I don't want to have all this stuff in my house.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. We did get it from their house originally. So
Right. But they've probably replaced it with,
well, it was like in storage in their garage. I mean they've
oh,
offered. So like and it wouldn't be a ton of stuff either. But I mean, that's a good point.
I was going to say is that taking it is not cost free because it's expensive to get a truck for that distance. There's a lot of gas. even if the truck itself is not expensive. It'll probably be several days. So that's a couple $100 right there. And then depending on the quality of your furniture, you have a lot of breakage every time you move it, especially over long distances like that. So you might be better off just trying to salvage it, because even if you store it at the parents' house, it's just kind of a stopgap because you probably won't move back to Fort Worth ever. So you'll have to move it at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but it depends on your finances, right? Like maybe, because like I would just sell and then just try to buy used stuff. But,
Yeah.
you know, that might not be cost effective either. I think it really depends on the economics of it. Have you priced out how much a truck will cost?
No, I think it might be a pretty penny
I'm
though.
thinking like at
So most of
least
what we've been,
$1,000, I would think.
yeah, that's what we were
Yeah.
thinking. So yeah, I know. Most of the advice we've been hearing is just sell everything and then buy it on Facebook Marketplace
Yeah.
when we move down there, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Also, because it's like you don't know like what your new space is going to look like. So even if you
Right.
brought it, you might not even be able to put it, might not be the same size. And then it
Yeah.
might not fit in like your new space. And then I don't know.
Right. And then you have to maybe get rid of it
And then you have to get
anyway.
rid of it anyway. And now it's been traveled and now some of it's broken. And
Yeah.
plus, it's like, I don't know.
Mhm.
If it were me, you're already doing like that crazy drive. Because then do you guys have two cars? Who would
Yes.
drive?
So originally, well, okay, so originally we were gonna go down like in May or something to like look at places, but also drop off a
Uh-huh.
car. But Jordan brought up a good point where he is like, that's probably a few $100s or something, and then like plane tickets and all the other things. He's like, how much is your car worth?
Yeah,
Poor Guinevere, she ain't worth
I
very much.
know.
So so we're thinking maybe we could like tow it over. Can we hitch it up? Or we just drive it down together and we might recruit some family. They've offered to help. So
Yeah. The problem with anything that, like, if you're moving big pieces, like you're moving a truck, you're moving a car, is that because of the distance, the gas is just going to kill you.
yeah, crazy. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But then also we're like, well, that's a lot of miles on poor Guinevere. Guinevere's my
Yeah.
car. She's a stately royal Toyota Corolla.
We had a joke about Guinevere on one of our previous episodes. I can't remember. Was it Elantris?
Was it what Sky said about Guinevere? Oh, that she would start smoking and there's a disco light.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it was like an Elantris episode. Maybe it was lessons in chemistry, but I feel like nothing fun happened in lessons in chemistry.
Yeah, I think it was
I think
Elantris.
so. Well, we are on a time budget today.
Yeah.
So, how
Okay.
far have you read?
So, well, I have two pieces of news for you.
Okay.
I have read until chapter 12.
Okay.
Like I finished chapter
Okay.
11, which is enough content for I'd say one episode.
Chrissy.
But the other piece of news is I have content for a second episode. That's not about the book.
Oh, you broke up when you were telling me the good news.
Oh. The other news is that I have content for a second episode,
Oh.
but it's a
Oh,
surprise.
okay. Okay. Well, that's good because I was behind. So I just kept reading, 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 reading. I think I'm like on chapter 15 or something. But
Okay.
I just blasted through like 6 chapters. Some these chapters, I think it's chapter 10.
Got longer?
They were long.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay. Because I looked back, I'm like, I feel like I've read a good number of pages from where we last were, but it's only like 5
Yeah,
chapters.
it's long. I mean, the whole book is 19 chapters, right? And it's like it's 400
Oh,
pages.
really?
If this was a Frida McFadden, this would be 20 or 40 chapters probably, because her chapters are like a
Yeah.
page. I think that also makes it feel like it goes really fast when the chapters are
Yeah.
short.
Yeah. I was kind of feeling that. I was like, oh man, this seems like it's going on forever. But also I was trying to read it last minute. And I was like, ah, I gotta go.
Yes. Yes. Did you see my TikTok that I made?
No. Oh, did you send it in the chat? No, I didn't see
You
it.
should look at it. It's really good.
Let me watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if anyone's listening right now and they don't know that we have a TikTok, we do. Not very popular, but I try.
Candy's very good at keeping it updated.
I try. I try to post things.
That is a great video.
Yeah. So basically what I
Oh,
did,
that is so
I
professional.
know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm getting pretty good at this. Um, some of the, because I looked at Goodreads, like the reviews, some of the negative reviews, and I kind of agree with this. They're like, it feels like it was 100 pages too long.
I was feeling that this last
Yeah.
section.
Um, because I think part of it's nice because it's like a little meandering, right? And it's like a
Hmm.
very like peaceful book, like something you read by the beach,
Yeah.
you're just hanging out. So I enjoy that. It's not like a Frida McFadden, which is like every single line, like something new is happening.
Yeah.
But I do think there was maybe a little bit too much description on some of like the contents, like especially the forest when they go into the safari.
Oh.
I liked
Hmm.
it.
I don't know.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't know if I noticed the description so much. I feel like there's a lot of themes that like are good themes, but I feel like they just keep coming up again and again where I'm like, we've heard it. We already know.
Yes.
Which maybe it's because I was trying to rush reading it, where I was like, come on, we gotta get on with the
No,
story.
I was feeling the same way. I do want to make a correction though, because I re-listened to episode 1 where we did the author recap, and I said that TJ Klune used a pen name, and then I didn't know his real name. And I feel like I was, I don't know, sleeping when I wrote that review because on his Wikipedia, where I pulled all the information from, he does use a pen name, which is TJ Klune. But on the top, it says it's Travis John Klune is his name. So
What? That's not a pen name, that's just a nickname.
so I think I was confused about what a pen name is because I thought a pen name was like Lemony Snicket, like
Mm,
it's nothing like your name. But
yeah.
then I remember
Like
J.K. Rowling, technically she was a pen name, so people
oh,
didn't know that she was a woman.
right. Okay, so I guess a pen name is just the name you publish under. I guess a pseudonym is maybe what we were thinking of, like a fake name.
Yeah, well, per Oxford, a pen name is an assumed name used by a writer instead of their real name. So to me,
Okay. Well, it is
this
their,
feels like their real name.
yeah. Okay, but a pseudonym is a fictitious name, especially one used by an author. So, wait, what was pen name?
Pen name is an assumed name used by a writer instead of their real name, but a
What?
pseudonym is a fake name. But it
So, so he just doesn't go by TJ in real life.
I guess.
That's what we're getting.
I guess maybe
I
like
guess that counts.
yeah, I guess like maybe if you look up TJ Klune, you wouldn't find like his resume on LinkedIn, maybe. Like
Maybe.
maybe that's like I don't know, but so I did just want to make that correction that it's very easy to find his real name. It's on the top of his Wikipedia page. And I saw pen name and I was like, he's a spy. We don't know his name. And I think it's because we came right off the heels of Frida McFadden, pen name, Lemmy Snicket,
Yeah,
pen name. And then I was like, TJ,
it's gotta
yeah,
be.
pen name.
Can't possibly be his
No,
real
I
name.
was like, he's a spy. Like, who knows? Who knows what his real Wikipedia page is?
Wow, and I think we were like, wow, he's really under wraps. We can't find his real
No, we
name.
went
Unlike Lemmy
we went
Snicket.
on and on and on about it. And that's why I was like, God, I was like, if anyone looks at this Wikipedia page, I'm like, you guys are dum dums. And I'm like, you know what? Fair.
So what's his real name? Timothy?
Oh, I already forgot it. Let me go back. Travis. Travis
Travis.
John Clune.
Travis John. I
I
like
like
TJ.
TJ better. I like TJ. I'm glad he chose to go TJ instead of Travis.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are picking up in chapter 9.
All right. Before we get any farther, welcome to Bookalicious. This is a podcast where two sisters chat about books we're reading. I'm Chrissy.
And I'm CJ.
Oh yeah. Yours sounds a lot better. Mine's CN. CNS. Central nervous system.
No.
We were ready for that one. Well, today we're talking about our friend TJ Klune and his book, The House in the Cerulean Sea, and we're picking up on chapter 9 or 10.
We are picking up on chapter 9.
Okay, so same thing as last time. I want to go part by part. Great. Well, I do not have a summary written for this. Do you have a summary?
No, because that's your job.
You know what? I think I remember most of this. Okay, so quick summary of chapter 9 is Linus is still on the island. He's thinking a little bit more about Mr. Parnassus, but he's like, "Oh, I'm here on business. I'm just observing. This is an investigation." Um, and then Arthur or Mr. Parnassus invites him on his one-on-one with Lucy, and he's like, "I think this is important. You need to see it." And so Linus goes. He's really scared to go. All the kids keep making fun of how he's going to die after he enters the room, but he doesn't die. He gets to hear their conversation about philosophy and Immanuel Kant and objectivity and things like that. And then Lucy also shows Linus his room, which is the walk-in closet attached to Arthur's room, which we thought was a little weird, but
Yep.
seems to be okay.
Yep.
And then Linus and Lucy bond over dead people music.
Yes. Which we'll go into that in a little bit. Before we go into any of the lines that I pulled out, I had a couple of, what did we call it? Give it a clue.
Yeah, get a clune. Oh, I have some of those too. What's yours?
Okay. So some of these I knew, but I was like, I wonder if Chrissy knows.
Mm.
Okay. Obfuscation.
Oh, yeah, to like cover to make unclear.
Yes. Okay. Well, that was an easy one. Do you have one?
Yeah, perfunctory.
I did that one too.
I know I've heard it, but I don't remember what it means.
I know. I saw that too. Perfunctory. Okay. So read out the sentence.
Okie dokie. Let me find it. Um, so he walked in the house. He heard Miss Chapelwhite singing. She was warmed up to him considerably since their trip to the beach, and by that he meant she acknowledged his presence with a nod that almost seemed cordial rather than perfunctory.
Context clues tells me feel like formality or
Yeah,
like required, but I don't know the proper definition.
that's what I was thinking. Let's look it up. Oh, perfunctory. Carried out with a minimum of effort or reflection. Describes an action or gesture.
Oh, okay. So cordial, I guess, means like
Means like kind, right?
kind. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Warm and
Or
friendly.
like sweet. Because like a cordial drink.
Cordial, yes, is another term for liquor, it says.
Yeah. And normally it's like something that's like sweet and like light.
Hmm. You
Um,
know where I learned that word?
Lemony
Yeah,
Snicket.
book the 13th. You remember that?
Yep. Yes, I
Wow.
do.
What a
The weird
throwback.
punch that they were drinking on the island.
Yeah, but this is such a perfect word for that because everyone was like too sweet and too nice, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
It also means a comforting or pleasant tasting medicine.
Oh,
Wow, this word really did it all for book the 13th.
okay. I had sconces.
Oh, that's like the little lamp that's on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Fun story about sconces is when I was reading one of our favorite childhood books, Fairest. Do you remember? Or no, no, it was Ella Enchanted.
Ella
Maybe both
Enchanted.
still.
Yeah.
It was probably in both. Actually, no, I think it was Fairest. But anyways, by Gail Carson Levine, a great one. Um,
Yep.
she was like in a castle or whatever, and there's all these sconces on the walls. But I didn't know what a sconce was, but I knew vaguely what a scone was. And so I thought
Yes.
there was all these biscuits hanging on the wall. Like this doesn't make any sense. And why are they lighting it up?
I think of scones too. It's really hard for me to decouple those two words. Those feel the same to
They're
me.
so similar.
Okay. Chagrin.
Oh, much to your like dismay.
Yeah, I knew that one too, but I was like, maybe you don't. All right. I'm assuming that everything I know, you know, and you know a few more that I do.
Probably not. Were there any more on your list?
In this chapter, no. All right.
Yeah, that was it for me too.
So now that we have gone through the perfunctory words, I don't know if I used that right. I just made it up.
Well, it's so cordial of you to do that.
I didn't want us to be obfuscated.
Wow, what a delicious sconce you have there. I like this segment.
Okay. All right. So Theodore, or not Theodore, Linus is like, okay, I have to go into Lucy's room. I think this is the first of the children's rooms that he starts at.
I don't remember. Yeah, I forget. It might be.
Um, and he's very like nervous about it, which makes sense.
Yeah. So you think you would be nervous?
I think I would be. I would just be, I think I would go in with like a lot of trepidation of just like, why is he in the closet? What is going on here? Like what's happening? So
So you wouldn't be worried that he's like gonna smite you?
I feel like no, just because everyone else seems like totally fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I could see if you're very religious where that would make you feel nervous. But this line says Linus Baker had never been the religious sort. So I don't know what I think he's just a very like nervous Nelly. And so that's just his temperament.
Mm. I don't know. So I kind of appreciated that Linus like is struggling with this because I think that's like good for
Mm-hmm.
the reader too of like, there's like sometimes it is hard to like get to know someone who's different from you and like to accept them and stuff. And it's like we get to see Linus going through that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't know. I think like and I think it's like based off what he knows about who Lucy is or who he should be. It's like, well, I get why you
Mm-hmm.
would be a little concerned, but you're right. Like since everyone else is like fine, then it's like should be fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
There's this one line that I pulled out, and I won't read the whole thing, but basically the context is that Linus had never been religious. He liked the hymns, but he couldn't sing well. I thought that was an interesting line to pull out because of all of the music
mm-hmm.
notes and threads throughout the novel. But what I wanted to highlight is that he said sins seemed to be subjective.
Oh yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
What do you think about that?
I could see how that would apply in some cases, but I think overall I disagree.
Yeah.
Hot take. What do you think?
Why do you disagree?
Because I think there's things that are like objectively, if there's things that are like objectively true, there's also things that are
Mm-hmm.
objectively right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so if something's objectively wrong, then this, and if that's what a sin is something that's wrong, then it wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
subjective.
So I think Linus would agree with you because the next line says, "Oh, murder was bad and harming others too, but was that comparable to someone who nicked a candy bar from the corner store when they were 9 years old?" So basically, I think I think if we were to ask Linus his opinion on it, he would say you might have a core of yes, these are quote unquote sins, these are bad, but then you kind of have like fringe ones where they might be a little bit more subjective.
Hmm. I guess then the question would be like, how do you decide what are the core ones? How do you know?
Right. Right.
What would you say?
Um, if I put on my data science hat, I would probably say you could look at people's different cultures, like primitive, and kind of see like, are there any like central themes that most people agree upon?
Hmm.
And you might have some that bubble up to the surface of like, okay, murdering, bad, stealing, bad, you might be able to kind of pull out some common threads of where even if people aren't interacting with each other, they come to the same conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And those I think I would try to group as like my core. And then in terms of like the fringe ones, that's really hard because that's so subjective to each person.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I feel like maybe the value we're putting on the sin or like, the wrongdoing or whatever seems subjective, or it's like this one's definitely worse than that one.
Yeah.
But maybe they're still all objectively wrong.
Yeah, I guess to me, I can't decouple the idea that every sin is equal sin
Mm-hmm.
or every wrong is an equal wrong,
Yeah.
because it's like at a minimum, murder, you're not able to undo.
Yeah.
So that needs to be put in like the worst category. Like the ones that can't be undone, I think need to be put in worse than like, I stole a candy bar, I can return a candy bar.
Right. But was it still right to steal the candy bar?
No,
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true. There's
I see
definitely
what you're saying.
some things that have more consequences and definitely
Mm-hmm.
affect people a lot more than other things, but like
Mm-hmm.
they're all still wrong.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to think on that. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah. But yeah. But I mean, I get what you're saying. It's like if I had to choose between someone murdering and someone stealing a candy bar, I'd choose
Mm-hmm.
them steal the candy bar.
Well, and maybe it's like because murder and stealing, we would loop in like our core ones. But what if there's like a fringe one?
Mm,
And I don't want to say any because I feel like they're too political and that's why they're fringe. Because some people, but I think everyone can imagine one that comes to their mind where people have differing opinions
yeah.
and both sides feel very strongly that what they think is correct.
Right. I think then that goes back to the question of like, well, how do you decide in the first place what's right and wrong? Because then, like, your standard of like seeing what do cultures in general say, it's like, well, that has a limit
Mm-hmm.
because, like, well, they didn't say anything about this one.
Yeah.
Or maybe they
Yeah.
did and times have changed. It's like, well, does right and wrong change with the times or does it not?
I think with more information, things can change.
Mm-hmm.
Like we thought leeching people was good and that was a good method. Now, if someone were to leech someone in terms of medicine, we would call that harmful because
Right.
we have the information to know that that actually doesn't help the person.
Yeah.
And even if they believe that it does help, it's like they're being willfully ignorant because the information is so accessible to them to know that that's not the right method.
Right. Well, that's interesting though, because I feel like if you're being basically intentionally ignorant, that would be a sin or a wrongdoing because it's like you're in a position to help people and you're choosing not to do that, basically. But like if 200 years or however many years ago, leeching was like the accepted practice and you thought that you were helping people, like was it a sin if you didn't
Yeah.
know?
Right, right. So like what if you didn't know that, taking the candy bar was wrong? Like you thought like, oh, they're on display for us to eat.
Yeah.
And you take it. It's like technically you did steal, but is that
Hmm.
wrong?
Yeah.
So like I guess and here we are getting into philosophy. But I guess intent behind it matters. But even if you're willfully ignorant, I'm trying to say that word. Like the person with the leeching, sometimes you don't even realize you're cherry picking data, let's say,
Right.
you know, like I can think of health things today where you have people today with like modern medicine where they have opinions about things that go against like your standard medicine recommendations, but they believe for whatever reason that what they know or what they found is correct and what everyone else says is incorrect.
Hmm.
And I don't think that they have like bad intentions. I think they have really good intentions.
Yeah.
And some could say that they're being ignorant because they're not reading all the literature, they're not looking at like the modern guidance. You could also, on the flip side, say that modern guidance changes. So, how
Yeah.
can you be certain that what's being told today is 100% correct?
Yeah. I guess that might be in a different category than sin, though. Maybe it'd be in judgment because it's like you don't go to jail if you practice medicine like that, even though it's like people could probably argue like this is actually like really harmful what you're doing. But we seem to have rules in place where it's like you have freedom to think and to believe different things and to act accordingly. So I wonder if that's more of a
Yeah.
judgment call. But like, would that
Well,
put you in the category of like sin and wrongdoing?
Right. Well, right. So, like, what if you're that same person and your intention was to harm people? Like, you have Dr. Death, who was from Waco, Texas, and he wanted to keep doing
Okay,
brain
okay.
surgery
I
and
think he
killing
was from
people.
Dallas.
Well, he did a stint at Baylor.
I just oh okay, but there's Baylor
Yep.
Hospital in Dallas. It's not in Waco.
Oh,
I just don't want Waco to get any more bad raps.
that's true. That's true. That's true. You're right.
Gotta for okay, but okay, so I think there's a differentiation between the action that could be good or bad, but then also your intent
Mm-hmm.
that's good or bad. Because you could do
Mm-hmm.
anything with a bad intent and make it could become a bad action. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like one of my friends took a philosophy class, and that's where I got this example from. I've never have, so I don't have
Okay.
the background in this. But she was talking about a similar thing of this, where it's like lighting a fire isn't a bad action, but like your
Mm-hmm.
circumstances can make an action a bad choice and maybe wrong
Mm-hmm.
entirely, or also your intent can make it wrong. So like if you light a
Mm-hmm.
fire in a house and set it on fire, that was bad. That was wrong. Or like if you're
Mm-hmm.
lighting a fire for the intent of setting something on fire and like harming it,
Yeah.
that's bad. But lighting a fire itself isn't bad.
So to, I think we've been dancing around it, but just to be direct, I think what this book is talking about directly when it's referencing the sins is it's talking about gay culture, homosexuality, things like that. When you're not being heterosexual, anything in like the other category, not that they're
Yeah.
other, but heterosexual or not.
Yeah.
Um, and certain groups believing that that's sin and then that's bad, and that because it's sin and it's bad, you're going to hell because you're doing those things. But then you have a lot of other people that feel the opposite, and they feel that it is not sin and it's not bad, and that doesn't, you know, send you to the pits of hell because you decided to have a relationship with someone of the same gender or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So in like that particular case, it's like people's intent when they're gay or whatever is good. They want to have a good, happy life. It's, I mean, I'm sure some people maybe have bad intention, but in general, I would say most people have good
Yeah.
intention, you know, they're just trying to live their life. So the intention is good. And so then the question is the act bad? And it's
Right.
like, depending on where you sit, a lot of people would say, no, it's not.
Yeah. I guess that's where it goes back to like, how do you decide what actions are right and wrong?
Right. Exactly.
So we can go back.
So then we roll all the way back. Then we would say that sin is subjective.
I don't
Well, let's look up the definition of sin, because what does sin really mean?
I'm sure also it could be used in different like there could be different definitions depending on what.
So, per Oxford, it says an immoral act considered to be a transgression against divine law. So, I guess from your perspective, where you're like, if this is what my divine law says, then it's not subjective.
Right. Yeah. Although, I mean, yeah. It depends on what your divine law says, because some of them are like, it's kind of subjective. Like you get to choose. But some of them are like, nope, this is what it is. So like even then
Right.
it's
So
like there's
then,
variation if you're
right. So maybe what it is like an individual person, it might not be subjective sin, right? If their divine law is very clear and it says yes, no, for them, it's not subjective. But sin as like the broader umbrella, where you have lots of different divine laws and lots of different religions, the overarching, it could be subjective because in one case, it could be a big no. And in another case, it could be yes. It's fine.
yeah. I think it could definitely my counter to that would be it could seem subjective, but for something to be objective, that means it's objectively true for everything, everywhere, all the time. Like it's not
Right.
just for me, it'd be for everybody, right?
Yeah. So I guess
But
what
does
I'm
everyone
saying is
accept
like
that? No. You know?
for my, I guess I'm thinking like micro. For my religion, my belief, it is objectively bad
Yeah.
in my small umbrella in terms of like, this is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'm using the words wrong. It's objectively bad. But if I zoom out, now I have a lot of people that all have their micro opinions on what it is. But those micro opinions differ between the religions.
Yeah.
Therefore, in aggregate, it's subjective, but at a micro level, it could be objective
Mm.
for that one branch, kind of.
Yeah, I
What do you
get what
think?
you're saying. I think though, based on that, then it'd be like majority rules for deciding what right and wrong is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're wanting to say? Like, would you agree with that?
No,
Because
no.
I think another way you could view it is like there is this large divine like law or ruler or something, and it's like things match up as like
Mm-hmm.
either within the law or without the law, something like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
then we're each all these little people, and we're thinking like, oh, I think this is right, I think this is wrong, but whether it matches up, what actually makes it right or wrong is whether it matches up with that like big ruler. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I guess that's hinging on the belief that there is one big ruler.
Right.
And maybe that's where we're differing because where I sit, I don't see that. I see like one big ruler. I don't see that. I
Yeah.
see everyone has like their individual beliefs or opinions. And
Yeah.
for them, that is their one big ruler.
Yeah.
But in aggregate, there's not like a quote unquote like true truth.
Mm. To counter that, I feel like, I mean, you don't have to agree with this, but um, I feel like whether you agree that there's a ruler there or not, there could still be there could still be one there, even if you're like,
Yes.
I don't care about it, you know? I guess
Yes.
that's what I'm
And
trying.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think what makes all of these types of conversations so difficult is that theoretically you could be right. Theoretically, I could be right, but there's no definitive answer.
Mm-hmm.
You believe that you have a definitive answer. I might believe I have a definitive answer, but
Yeah.
there's nothing that we can like really say, like, this is exactly what it is
Right. Well, I guess for something
with
like,
100% certainty.
yeah, I guess for something like morality, like what would make it concrete? Like a philosophical book or something? Or like, like I don't know how you would without how you would like 100% determine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that's why, like, with my initial thought, what I was thinking of is are there certain themes that, regardless of where you live, where you started, most people believe one, two, three. And those themes I would consider like at being a person, being a human, this is what you naturally believe, these three tenets, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then everything else that religions or people add on to it, that's kind of where the discrepancies happen. Or
Yeah.
to TJ's point, the fuzziness. What did he
Right.
say? I forgot.
Uh,
Subjectiveness.
yeah.
That's how I would think of it. But that's hinging on that there's not one truth
Yeah.
that I don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you can't verify that, then we'll be talking in circles till the end of time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably a good place to go then or to end maybe because I
Yeah.
think that's like
I
there's some
feel,
things that are black and white, but then there's also like gray areas. Maybe as a summary.
yeah,
I think.
that would be my take. And then I would also just add the caveat that depending on what you believe, it might be all black and white
Mm-hmm.
on the micro level. But on the macro level, if you look at all people out everywhere, sins do seem to be subjective. That was my take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's interesting. Well, I like our
Yeah,
conversation.
I do too. Uh, like I said, we'll go on forever and ever.
Oh, whoops. I
Okay.
paused my timer.
Oh,
Like, wow, it's been on 51 minutes for a while. So,
oh my God. Okay. Do we not even get through one chapter?
no, I don't even know if you pointed out one line. You brought up the
Oh
subjective
my
candy
God.
bar. Do you have any other lines for this chapter?
Oh my God.
We've done the
Okay.
summary
Yeah, I just have
already.
a few. Yeah. All right. So we get a hint that Linus is into boys.
Oh, we've already gotten that.
Because well, it says, as for girls, his mother needn't have worried.
Yeah.
By then, Linus had already noticed, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Um, he goes in there. He finds that the room is very normal. They share their love of music, which I thought was nice because that humanizes Lucy for Linus.
Yeah.
We find out that Lucy says that he has these spiders in his head, and it seems like he has like some kind of like mental deficiency that makes him kind of do these like weird outbursts sometimes.
Okay.
We get a direct line to Greek mythology with, I think it was Lucy or someone saying, "Oh, well, Apollo killed Linus with his arrows because of a musical contest. Are you going to kill Mr. Baker?" Lucy turned his head slowly to look at Linus. "If you do, can you make sure to use arrows?" So I thought I was being so clever with the pulling out of the names, but it was actually right there in the text. And
But we figured that out before he spelled it out for us.
yeah, and that's it. Okay, chapter 10.
All right, chapter 10. My one line from here was so Lucy likes listening to music and he likes dead people music, as in
Mhm.
singers who have died.
Oh,
Yeah, and I thought that was
yes.
interesting of like, is he using music kind of as a way to like communicate with the dead? Like it kind of brings them back to life in a way.
Mhm.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to think about it too.
Yeah.
You have these people's words and their songs or even their books, and even though
Yeah.
that they're gone, it's like their
They're still there.
art lives on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you're still communicating them with them in a sense. Like you're hearing what they're saying
Hmm.
in their book. And that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, chapter 10.
Okay. Chapter 10.
So this is when we do you want me to do the summary?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, so it starts off with
It was long.
Linus going to the ferry. What?
I said, yeah, this one was long.
Yeah. So it goes with Linus going to the ferry to check his mail. And I don't know if he drops off the report here, but I think yeah, he does a swap. He drops off his envelope for week 2, and he picks up his response from the previous week. The extremely upper management just give him like a one line basically saying, "Don't leave anything out." And he's
Yeah.
like, okay. After that, then um, Zoe, she picks up an outfit for Linus, and it's a safari outfit, and he feels ridiculous in it, but they're all going on an adventure first for the Saturday. And Lucy starts off and he's just like, "I'm gonna be the villain, you guys are gonna be good, and then I'm gonna kill you all." And then they're like, "No, you can't do that." And then they're like, Chauncey's like, "Let's all be villains." And he's like, "No, you can't all be villains." He's like, "Well, then I'll be good, and then I'll turn on you guys." And then he's like, "I don't want to be good." He's like, "Fine, we're all villains." So then they start on their journey, and like while this is going on, it's like you're just kind of seeing the bond grow between Linus and the children.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arthur and Zoe disappear. And so then they're kind of on their own. And Linus has to be brave when like these big like vines show up, and he's like, "I'm going to machete cut them down and keep the children safe." And then he does. And then they go out into a clearing and they find Zoe's house, and she's made them this big, beautiful lunch. And we find out from Linus that that means a whole lot because what is she? A sprite?
Sprite.
Sprites are very private, so sharing their personal home is a big deal. And then we see Zoe and Fee practicing their sprite magic, and Linus is just falling in love with the children and the island.
Yeah. Very cute. It's all very, very
Yeah,
sweet.
it's a very sweet chapter.
Yeah. Great summary. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I have some get a clunes.
Okay.
My first one is the word preened. Do you want to hear the sentence?
Preened.
Yeah. Was that, did you have
Yes.
any words? Was that one of yours?
I had highlighted preened later on. I knew this one, but I was wondering if you knew
You
it. All
knew
right, go
this
for it.
one? No, I didn't know it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well, not a lot of context. Talia preened.
Yeah. So preened is typically described with birds and they're like picking their dead feathers off, cleaning
What?
themselves.
Wow.
Hmm.
So what does that
Yeah.
mean?
So
What did she do?
when you're preening yourself, you're like kind of primping, fixing your hair up, or she's like fixing her beard up, like getting the tangles out.
Oh, that's a very
At least,
different. Wow, yeah, you're exactly right.
yeah. I just looked it up today because I highlighted it and then I was like, what is the meaning? And that was what I thought.
Oh, wow. I thought it meant the opposite. I thought she was like, ugh, or something because she said, we need to stick, us round people need to stick together. And he goes, exact, what's his name? Linus says, exactly. And so I thought Talia was like,
Oh,
ugh, but it was the opposite.
yes. Well,
Fascinating.
because by Talia saying round, Linus is taking it as a dig, but what TJ is trying to show is that it doesn't matter what you look like. It just is what it is. It's not bad or
Mm,
good. And
okay.
so Talia's like, we're round. Like, that's great. Because I'm round, you're round. How cool. And there's not like that stigma attached to it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that point would have gotten across a lot stronger if I knew the word breed.
Okay,
Oh,
I have one for you.
okay.
And I didn't look this one up, so I don't know it. The children stood at the entrance to the copse, apparently having decided they could go no further. COPSE.
Oh, I highlighted that too, but on the page before, says he pointed toward a copse of trees
Oh,
just off the beach.
oh, copse is
I don't,
probably right.
I don't know which way. We should look it up. I was imagining like a big. You already know this word or no?
I looked it up and
Okay.
I remembered it from when I looked it up a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay. I think it means like a big like bunch of trees, but does it mean something also
Yeah.
menacing, like a foreboding bunch of trees?
Um, it really just means grove, thicket, brush.
How does he learn these words?
I know. He just has them all. I'm trying to
Yeah.
see if there's
Oh, I found a sound for it. You want it?
pronunciations. Yeah.
Cops.
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 There you go.
Cops.
Cops.
Okay. That was not the one that I was originally thinking.
That wasn't the word.
Um, okay, here it is. This is the other word. This is the one that I don't know. I
Oh,
knew cops because
hit
when
that.
I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It was in the din of food. Chauncey faced down in his pie. And laughter. Chauncey sprang bits of pie when Lucy told a rather ribald joke that was highly inappropriate for someone his age.
I highlighted that word
Ribald.
too. Ribald
I have
joke.
no idea.
Lucy told a ribald joke inappropriate for his age. I guess like X-rated, maybe like spicy
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like a sexual innuendo of some variety.
or like very violent. Oh, nope,
Oh,
nope. You're right. Um, a ribald referring to sexual matters in an amusingly coarse or irreverent way. Wow,
hmm.
where does he learn these
Yep.
words?
I have no idea.
I need to know. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, I had a question for you based off this chapter,
Okay.
and it's based off of a conversation Linus and Arthur have. They're talking about the kids, and basically what they're talking about is Arthur has really worked hard to like keep them safe on the island and really build up like their sense of self and their self-worth and all these great things so that when they go out into the world, like they'll be ready to face it. But Linus is
Mm-hmm.
like, you're keeping them so sheltered that they don't know it's out there. And so it's like a
Mm-hmm.
disservice to them to not leave the island.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a stance? Would you be Team Linus or Team Arthur?
I think I'm team Linus objectively, but I think if I was in the situation, I'd be team Arthur.
Yeah. What would be a what would need to change about the situation in order for you to be Team Linus in this situation?
I think I would want to make sure that they were mentally had enough fortitude and like
Mm.
strength to withstand like negative things happening to them, because all these children have come to Arthur and they were very broken, it seems like.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that they're properly prepared to go into the world, which might be very harmful to them and
Yeah.
hurt them. But if you over prepare them, then they never get to practice, and that can make them not very tough
Yeah.
in a difficult world.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of where
What do you
I am
think?
too. Yeah, I think I'm there
Yeah.
too. Of it's good for kids to be in tough situations, but they really the best way to do that is to prepare them for that tough situation. And it's
Mm-hmm.
possible that that's Arthur's perspective too, and he's just still in the preparation phase. And like it does just take a lot of preparation because they're going to face a lot of hard things
Mm-hmm.
in the world. So, I could
I felt like our childhood leaned more towards Arthur, with mom and dad wanting to protect us from a lot of like
mm.
what the world was.
Mhm.
So then when we went out there, I felt very unprepared in a lot of circumstances. In some ways, I felt very prepared, but
Mhm.
in certain areas, I felt like I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. What are some things that you've were like, oh, that would have been really helpful, or that you've seen other families do, where you're like, that's a great way to prepare your kid.
I feel like the sex ed, just talking about it, I
Yeah.
think like the alcohol, like, because our parents like completely abstain, which is fine, but it's like if you're never around people who drink, it's like really hard for you to know, is this person drunk? Is this
Yeah.
person like, why is this person acting like this? Like, this is odd.
Yeah.
And like having to like figure those like signs out on your own as a kid is, or a young adult, because I was 18, so I was an adult.
Yeah.
But as a young adult, it can kind of put you in precarious positions, especially if you're, going out with some of your college girls and you're with guys and you're like, oh, he's like acting like really flirty. Like he must like me, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great point. Yeah, it's like all or none isn't
Yeah.
realistic kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think about this. I mean, this is one thing where I'm like, oh yeah, that would have been nice to have preparation for, where mom didn't
Mm-hmm.
like me driving on the highway. And I was like, okay. But then I moved to Texas and I was like, I guess I'll just drive on the highway here on my own.
Yeah.
And so like this probably would have been helpful to have more experience at home doing
Yes.
this. And I did have some,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that it's good to practice things.
Yeah. And just be like aware. Andrew always said, he's like, whenever we go like out of like whenever we travel or we go somewhere, he's like, people are tailing us. I'm like, what? And I mean, I still don't know if it's true, but he's like, that person's been following us for 3 blocks. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're just like walking around, like not paying attention. And I'm like, you're right. I'm not, because I'm just like walking around. I'm like in a city. Like I just like my default is to assume that I'm safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like in some ways that can be a nice way to live, because, your life is very peaceful and you're like, whatever. And you're not waiting for danger around every corner. But then you're also not prepared when someone pickpockets you or, you know, harms you. So
Yeah. Well, have you
things
ever
like
been
that.
pickpocketed or harmed?
Well, no, because Andrew and I got together when I was very young. So
Well, there you go. I had to,
but I am a lot more aware now
yeah,
of like, oh, we're walking and like that person is, like a weird length behind me, and
yeah,
I keep making turns and they keep making turns. Like, is it that we're going to the same place, or is it that they're
yeah.
like, you know,
Got an eye out. Yeah,
right.
I'm bad at that too. Josh and I went on a run like a few weeks ago, and then we were like
Mm-hmm.
talking about it later. He's like, "Yeah, did you notice all those tents? Like all those people camping out under the bridge when we were running?" And I was like, "No."
No.
Where? He was like, there's like 10 of them. And I was like, what? I
Oh
just
my God.
totally missed it. I'm just so unaware of my surroundings.
Yeah. Like every time Andrew and I walk and like we were walking and I was like, oh, do you smell that? And it smelled like really weird. I was like, if the police come knocking on our door and they say, did you notice anything odd that happened on this Thursday of May or whatever? And then I'll say, yeah, I noticed this weird smell. And like coming from this house, and they'd be like, oh, okay, and then they'll find out that it was a cannibal like Dahmer and he was cooking people up, and my clue will give the evidence. Or like I'll see like a weird car and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I always like try to remember. Yeah. I'm like, it had a really strange license plate. I'd never seen it before, you know? But if the police came knocking on your door, you'd be like, it was a perfectly normal day.
Yeah.
Nothing to note.
Can't say notice anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. You're gonna solve all the unsolved crimes in Atlanta.
Or I'm going to get a lot of people thrown in jail for doing very benign things. So it turns out they were just like trying a new recipe and they made it wrong. And I'm like walking outside and I'm like, they're eating people.
That's the only thing this could be.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
That happened once when I was an RA. It actually wasn't me. It was Josh and someone else. They were like
They're
doing
cooking
rounds.
someone?
No, no, they were Josh and the other RA. They were like doing their rounds. So they're like walking through the dorm or whatever at night. And she smelled something and she was like, Josh, this is weed. They're smoking in there. And Josh was like, this isn't weed. They're like cooking eggs or something. But she was like really convinced, and he was like, okay. So then they called the police, and the police come knocking on the guy's door, and he was like sauteing onions or something like that.
Oh my God.
But
Oh my
she was
God.
on it. If there were, there's even a flake of
Seasoning. Yeah. I think it's better to err on not reporting than reporting. I don't know. Because you don't want to throw someone in jail who's innocent. That's worst case scenario because then they stop looking for the real criminal.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they say it's always better to let a guilty person free than an innocent person go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any more lines in chapter 11? Or 10. Sorry.
Yeah. Not really any lines, but at the very end, what happened? Oh, the kids. Well, there's a lot of things that happened, but the line I pulled out was like, oh my gosh, these kids. Because Fee is with Zoe and they make a flower out of the ground and it's like super magical. And Linus is like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? And she's like, I just listened to the earth. And then she says, do you really like it? He goes, yes, very much. And she goes, good. You should know I've named it Linus. You should feel honored. And he goes, I am. And he was absurdly touched. And she goes, it's a perfect name for it. It's a little flimsy. And honestly, it isn't much to look at and will probably die if someone doesn't take care of it regularly. I was like, oh my gosh.
I know. These kids, they're running circles around him.
I know. But they like him.
Yeah.
So that's cute.
That was my last line too. I love that. That made me laugh.
Yeah. I was a fan.
Okay, chapter 11.
Chapter 11. I have a very brief summary for this.
Okay.
So you can fill it in. But in this chapter we see Linus's second case report. Which honestly I kind of felt like a diary entry. Did you get those vibes?
Yes. Basically, what I found reading more of the book is that these case reports are really used as like a montage to skip a week ahead.
Yeah.
Or fill in a couple of days.
Yeah. I think that's a great use of them. I just thought it was a little weird that he was sending things to his like extremely upper management that was like, I'll be meeting with Arthur later. It's like, not that I'm excited or anything. It's like, why would you include that detail in your report?
I'm imagining the parentheses are like his own opinion.
Oh.
Like he didn't write that.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense of like just using this as a literary device. And
yeah.
I could see what you're saying.
But yeah, like if he is saying that, okay, number one, stop that. Don't ever do that again. Because you're supposed to be impartial, and that's the most impartial thing I've ever seen. Yeah. Okay, but he writes his Dear Diary.
Oh yeah, so he writes his Dear Diary report. And then he gets a knock on the door, and who is it but little what's his name? Sal? Sal. And Sal's
Um,
the shapeshifter who's been super shy, and has kind of been
mhm.
avoiding Linus just because he's so shy. I didn't realize Sal was like the same height as Linus and like almost the same size.
Yes,
In my mind, he was a lot smaller. But anyways,
because he makes himself small.
yeah.
He's always hunched over.
Yeah. So now we know his full size, as big as Linus.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
and he's gone from like orphanage to orphanage, has had a really like unstable childhood. And so we get, and the big moment here is that he is inviting Linus to see his room because Linus has seen all the other kids'
Hmm.
rooms. And Arthur was just letting Sal take it on his own time. So Sal takes the
Hmm.
initiative, invites Arthur in. And then it's a really small room. There's not a lot of decorations up, primarily because Sal hasn't had a chance to get decorations because he's just always been moving around. So he doesn't really have any interest. He's just been worried about like, stability and living his life.
Hmm.
So that's really sad. But we learned that when he moved into the island, Arthur asked, "What's one thing that you want? I'll do whatever. I'll do as much as I can to make it happen." And the first thing Sal wanted was to stay there. But then the second thing he wanted was a typewriter. And so we learned that Sal likes writing stories. And he has this nice typewriter and a nice desk in his room that used to be in the closet because he felt safer there. But with Linus's help and encouragement, they actually move it out to be by his window in his room so that he can be bigger.
Yes. This was a very sweet, endearing
It
chapter.
was, yeah.
And TJ is doing a really good job of humanizing these children and just really like portraying them as like these are just like sad little kids who have had sad lives.
Yeah. And but
And oh, that's it.
yeah, and I was gonna say he does a really good job of making it feel like a really warm family because like that is the feeling I
Hmm.
get from reading this book. It's like very warm family. Like anyone would want to be in this family, even though everyone
Yeah.
the kids are like maybe not the first people you think of as being as part of your family.
Hmm.
But when you get to know them, it's like, oh, they're so great, which is
Hmm.
the point.
So there's one question that Linus brings up, and I don't think we have enough time to tease it out. But basically, he's talking about Lucy, and he's like, I think if Lucy has like a really warm, loving upbringing, then I don't think that he'll end the world. And he's kind of saying like nature versus nurture
Yeah.
of people's temperaments and things like that. And I think that's an interesting question. And if someone told me this is the Antichrist who can bring the end of the world, and someone said, well, I'm going to put them on an island, I'm going to raise them normal, and they're going to come out normal,
Yeah.
would I be amenable to that?
Well, what's the other option, I guess? Well, like what else do you do with this kid? Like he's here.
Yeah, you get rid of them.
Sacrifice him?
Yeah.
Ah. I feel like that maybe, hmm, does that go back to things being objectively wrong of like, is it ever right to kill someone who's innocent? Like he hasn't done
Right.
anything
They haven't
yet.
done something yet.
Yeah.
Right. Like the time traveler, oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to kill this horrible warlord or this person who killed all these people. I'm going to go back and get rid of them,
Yeah.
even though they haven't done anything yet,
Hmm.
but I know what they could do.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm glad I don't have to make that choice, but I mean, it does like give you pause. I'm like, I don't really know what I would do in that circumstance. I feel like the pragmatist in me would say what's like the cost benefit analysis and just kind of do it that way. But if I was in charge of making that decision, would I be able to do that? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I just had this idea. Have you heard of the trolley problem? Oh, yeah, we've
Yes.
talked about this. Yeah. 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 Where it's
Yes.
like maybe you choose the one person, but like, what if it's your mother? And you're like, oh gosh, I don't know anymore. What if it's this
Yeah.
time traveler scenario, but the person who ends up being like the mass murderer is like your mom or your dad? And so now you're a
Right.
time traveler and you can go back and you can kill them, but it would also mean that you don't exist anymore.
Right.
I don't know. I that could be a cool premise for a movie, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
We're ready to go on the road.
It's a very interesting question because there's not an answer, you
Right.
know. But I did think that was nice that TJ brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little bit, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but at the end of that paragraph where he's talking about like, is it nature versus nurture? Then he says, can Lucy be rehabilitated, assimilated? That remains to be seen. And from my perspective of reading the book and like hearing all the positive interactions he's having with the kids, I'm like, what do you mean? How do you still have questions about Lucy? He's great. But then I read that, like, ugh,
I think this is Linus's attempt at staying
objective.
impartial because his goal is to be objective, but he is, and I was going to ask you this, he's very quickly not being objective,
Yeah.
and it's like, is that good in someone like his
Oh,
shoes?
yeah. I think one thing that we could say Linus wasn't doing well or was even doing something wrong earlier in the book was that he was maybe complicit in a system that was doing bad
Mm-hmm.
things. So like he would close an orphanage and you never knew what happened to the kids after, to where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
is and if he were to look into things, would he morally feel right about going in and closing the orphanages like he is? Like, was that a good thing to do? And so I feel like him getting to know the kids and really actually learning what happens when he closes orphanages, I feel like that's a step in the right direction, you know?
I do think that is good for his overall temperament, but in terms of like his role, the orphanages that closed, they might have objectively should have been closed. What happened to the kids after, that could be like the problem in the system, right?
Yeah.
Because they could be in a bad place and then they go to somewhere even worse. And then
Yeah.
you could say, Linus, you put them from bad to worse. Like,
Right.
that's not
Yeah.
good. But the solution isn't to just leave them in bad, it's to that next step, make sure that it goes somewhere better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by him losing that impartiality and he's kind of getting his emotions in it, would he be able to make a hard choice
Yeah.
if he needed to?
That's true. I guess what we're seeing though is like, I mean, so far everything has just been so rosy to where it's like, wow, Linus is seeing them as they actually are. And like, it seems like this is the right way to see them as like children and have their own
Mm-hmm.
personalities and things. Um, to where if he were to stay completely objective and like by the book and be like, hey, they're not doing their X number of hours of study a week, or
Mm-hmm.
Lucy's sleeping in the closet. Like that's not up to code or whatever. Like he'd be missing it,
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like he's getting a better read on the situation by getting to know the kids. But like I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. You know.
Yeah. I think really where I get with the impartiality is him with Mr. Parnassus, Arthur.
Yeah.
That is where I feel like that's the problem where him with the children is not so bad. He should get to know the
Mm,
children,
yeah.
to your point. But it's when he becomes too close with the leadership, being Arthur and Zoe, that it's kind of like,
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
are they pulling the wool over his eyes?
Yeah. I think that's a great point. Yeah.
So
I mean, but it's if this were an actual, scenario, it is hard to not build any sort of relationship when you're on an island with 8 other people.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I didn't have any lines underlined. It was
Oh,
just, oh, go.
I have a get a clue.
Ooh.
Okay, the word is hackles. And the sentence is, but then Calliope bursts out of the guest house, hackles raised and eyes wide, as felines sometimes did for mysterious reasons. You're a cat person. Do you know what hackles are?
Oh. Oh, interesting. I just skimmed over that one.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm imagining it to be in the context is like their fur sticking up, they're puffed.
Mm-hmm.
But without the context, I would have had no idea.
I know. Yeah, I was thinking like shoulder blades up kind of thing. I think we
Mm-hmm.
have the same image in our mind. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. How does he find these specific words?
Erectile hairs.
Yeah, that's a weird word.
Like when the hairs on your neck stand up on end.
Ooh. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. But it's specifically along the back of a dog or other animal that rise when it's angry or alarmed. What?
Hmm.
Hackle?
Okay, so it says dogs, but in this one it says hackles are erectile plumage or hair in the neck area of some birds and mammals.
I think it's both because I see both those definitions too.
Yeah. And then in birds, the hackle is the group of feathers found along the back and side of the neck, which I would call the plume. You
Hmm.
know, like when they have like I'm imagining like a cockatiel and then like their hat
Yeah.
pops open.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's similar or the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Hackle. Interesting. Okay,
Hackle.
any other get a clues?
Those are all the ones I had pulled out.
Okay. All right, let's take us home, chapter 12.
I only read to chapter 12.
Oh, you haven't read any more.
No.
I thought you read through chapter 12.
No, but I could read it real quick.
It's no, it's fine. Let's call it a day.
Do we want to preview the next episode so people are excited?
Ooh, okay, yeah. What's the next episode?
Okay, well, let me know what you think. I thought we could do a listener Q&A, except we haven't solicited any listener questions. So we just make our own Q&A for each other. We just talk.
About what? About the book? About life?
Well, I started finding questions. We don't have to do this, and we could find other questions, but some of the questions that I had picked out for us were things like, which character do you relate to most from the books we've read? Or what
Oh,
book had the most
yeah.
impact on you as a child? Or
Okay.
if we started a business together, what would it be and who would do what?
Well, it would be a podcast and you would do summaries.
Oh no. I'm about to get fired
Okay.
from my one job.
No, that sounds good. Okay. That sounds really good. So we'll do that. And then when I get back from Italy, then
Yeah,
we'll finish up House by the Cerulean Sea.
I think that sounds good. Hey,
Okay. Well, we're
I
gonna
love you.
do water break and we'll be right back.
Cool. Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Bookalicious. If you like this discussion, please rate or subscribe to our channel to help other book lovers find this content as well. If you have any questions or suggestions for future books, we'd love to hear from you at bookalicious.pod@gmail.com. As always, thanks for joining our club.